got to get ourselves pumped because our recording has changed. I don't get to do my countdown anymore, and it's just not as fun.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We need to just simulate it. But
Yeah.
whatever. We'll bring the energy to Brain Candy Podcast, episode 706. Susan Louise here.
Sarah Louise over here.
How
Should
are
get
you?
that changed. What if I did that?
I would be so happy.
Like, because can't you just change your name to whatever when you get married?
You could
I
add
feel like that's
Louise,
a
no
thing.
problem.
You can just throw in a Louise there. Sarah, Whitney, Louise, Rice.
What would make you consider actually doing it?
The joke.
Right. How hard I would laugh.
How hard you would laugh. You know how I love doing things. Like everything that I post on my Instagram is like for you to laugh
Right.
at. Maybe
Audience
you
of
noticed
one.
the other day. I mean, can we talk about this? Episode 706, recording in April, not beginning of April, fucking end of April, okay? The other day, somebody was throwing out their Christmas tree.
Yeah. Why were you so mad about it?
Susie, why are you not so mad at this?
It wouldn't even occur to me. I would probably be like, whoa,
Too late.
bloomer.
It's too late. There's no way that thing, it's like evergreen. No. I'm sorry.
Right.
Unexcusable. And don't
it
do
seems
that
like
thing
you
where
were
you're
offended.
like, oh, we decorated it for Easter. Nope. Nope.
Yeah, I agree.
It was
It is
dead.
shocking. It's a fire hazard.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, what are we doing?
Well, don't
I
you have
have-
compassion?
No, not for that. You look at it
Why?
every day. I don't know why. If you can't,
Yeah.
come on. Put your
Yeah.
Christmas tree. in
Yeah,
the
because you
trash.
put it up.
Yeah.
Like if you were in distress, you wouldn't have even been able to put it up in the first place.
You think that am I not being nice? Like somebody just like,
Well, I mean, it's
think
one
they were
of
just
two
like-
things. It's either extreme laziness and like disorganization or crisis. Yeah. Those
yeah,
are the only
okay.
two
Maybe
options.
I'm not being nice enough and
Well-
understanding enough.
No, I kind of liked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You want to know something funny? Speaking of like my neighborhood, I'm currently in what I can only think is like the apartment equivalent of having a middle seat and like fighting for the armrests.
Yeah.
Okay.
How
Because
so?
it's springtime, sun is out,
Yeah.
and I like to have my windows open, like my
Yes.
blinds open.
Yeah.
But we are right across an alley from another neighbor.
Yeah.
And this neighbor I do not think likes us.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. And right across from the alley. And it feels like we're in a game of almost like chicken or something like that with the blinds, because like I roll them up and then you can like see into our living room. And then if they roll them up, like we can see into there. So it's like, who's going to keep them up? And I'm not putting them down. And we have blinds that you can even just make go up at the top and down the top. So they almost are just like floating right in the middle, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
Do you
but
think
I do
that
feel
this
like it's the middle seat
person-
equivalent.
Do you think that they mind that
Yes.
you and they think like you're peering in maybe?
Because like I never had it up. We always had it closed, and they always had it open. And now I've never seen theirs like go down, and then they
Right,
shut
they
it, and I
haven't
was like,
taken a
oh, they're
turn.
aware. Yeah,
Yeah. I
Uh-huh.
see what you're saying. So
And now I'm like,
I wouldn't
all
budge
for
on
me.
that. I
I'm
would
not.
budge.
I'm just leaving it open. I'm like, and if you're looking, you deserve. Go ahead, look how cute my apartment is.
I had a neighbor the same like that in LA, but we both enjoyed it. Like we would wave at each other and stuff.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like if
nice.
you have somebody that's fun, then it's no problem.
I wanted to be fun with this person.
Yeah.
Did I tell the embarrassing story about when we put the toys over our face?
No.
No? Oh gosh, this is a good. So this neighbor, I don't know why, like just doesn't. I think it's because
Yeah,
like we
they
told
don't
him to move
appreciate
one
you.
time, like when it was
Oh.
blocking the alley with the, so it
You got off
But-
on the wrong foot.
got off on the wrong foot. And I don't know what the hell else I did. So we're like right across from each other. So sometimes Amazon or somebody gets confused about like where they're dropping off packages.
Yeah.
And my brother Jordan and I were home and we're waiting for our younger brother Luke to get there. And we were all going to like, I don't know, watch a movie or something like that. And we were like in a real goofy mood. And Eli has these stuffed animal toys that are like in funny shapes of food. He's got a pizza and a toast and a donut, and they're like about the size of your face. So Jordan, we're like waiting for Lucas, and Jordan's like, we're like, hey, when Lucas comes, we should like do something silly. We should put these in front of our face. And when he answers the door, we'll like have like funny pizza faces or, you know, whatever. We're just like being silly, like siblings do. Yeah. So the doorbell rings and we go downstairs and we open the door with the pizza and the toast in front of our face. And we go,
no.
Lucas! And the neighbor that does not like me goes, nope.
Oh my God. Wait, do I love your neighbor? I think
Suze, I was like, it couldn't have been like the other neighbors like us. The other neighbors are great. We like bring their mail in sometimes. Like, you know,
I can't believe this. Were you mortified or did you think it was funny?
Both. Yeah. First, mortified. First, I was like, I'm going to throw up. Like, and then the worst was that he was like, nope.
Oh my God.
Here you go. And like, not even a smile. And I was like, well, have a good day. And now I've gone in the other direction where now I'm being like, every single time I see him, I'm like, have a wonderful day. Just it almost sounds condescending. He probably thinks like, why is she being like this?
I can't believe they
I just want him to like me.
About that.
Right. That's what I said. That's what we were saying. I was like, what kind of jerk doesn't at least crack a smile when we're opening the door? I'm going to have to take a picture of this and post this of how, like, they're try not to smile.
Yeah.
What he did,
or at least maybe be like, whoa, what's happening?
Something.
Acknowledge that this was shocking.
Right. And this could have been like our olive branch, like maybe, you know, like laugh or something.
Yeah, could have changed everything.
Nothing, you know.
He didn't want to give you the satisfaction of that. Yeah.
Right.
Would it be fun if you put in the window, like, you know how we talked about Bigfoot? Like
all welcome here, except that guy. No, just like kidding. No, he wouldn't like that. No.
Could see in your house like a Bigfoot, like
that would be funny.
Something like that.
That is funny. Like a cutout. You're right. That would be clever.
Life size.
Yes.
Preferably.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like you gotta
something silly.
Yeah, make a fool out of this bozo.
Right. Well, he's not very. He probably needs a laugh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're gonna go that route.
Well, I'm just saying, you got to be damn near depressed to.
Yeah.
Like
maybe he's having tough times.
Oh, what if it was his Christmas tree? I don't even know. It could be.
I think it may have been. Things aren't looking good for that fella. Do you know his name?
No. I think Eli does. I can't remember. What if he listens to the podcast?
Yeah, right.
He doesn't. What if he did, though?
He doesn't. By the way, I never did really go into what happened at Comic-Con, but probably because I still am like processing the amazingness of it all. But I will say a lot of brainiacs were there.
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Well, and a lot of challenge fans, which is more believable. Because
but when they say brain candy.
Yeah, I loved it. It really meant a lot.
It really does. It's like,
oh
my God, look at us.
It does. It makes sense when you think about it because it's like people that are really into stuff, like nerdy stuff.
Oh, come on.
And
we love stuff.
We love stuff.
I love it.
We love things. We love stuff.
Love things, love stuff, love learning things.
Yeah. But yeah, so shout out to all the brainiacs at Steel City Comic Con. I love you.
I need to go to...
you need to go
where
to
my people are.
For sure. You would love Comic-Con.
Of course I would. And an excuse to dress up. Hello.
For sure. I love those people.
Just think of what I could be. Something that involved overalls.
Yeah, anything from Toy Story. People would love that.
Oh my gosh. That's so fun. Oh,
I'll tell you what else is fun.
I got them right behind me. The gang's all
I
here.
know, you're ready. The gang's all here. I'll tell you what else is fun, and that's Nutrafol. Listen. Yes. The reason it's fun is because your hair grows like you wouldn't believe. I was just talking to my sister about it because she works with somebody who's struggling with thinning hair, and she gave them the scoop about Nutrafol. And I said to my sister, I go, there is exactly one downside, and that is that my roots come in way faster.
Oh yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
You know, when you bleach, and it's a big difference between my roots and my real, or you get it.
Yes.
The fake and the real.
I mean, we're going to take that.
Yeah. And she goes, well, that is a great problem. And she is right, because Nutrafol was a solution when I had the hair tragedy of 2022. And I know a lot of people have thinning, whether it's from hormones, pregnancy, stress, COVID stuff, whatever, health stuff. And this is the number one dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically proven, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Because my sister asked about the thickness stuff. Yes. And they have a deal. Here's what it is. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering promo code BRAINCANDY to save $10 off your first month subscription. This offer is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time, plus free shipping on every order. Get $10 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. I was just updating our sponsor page on our website. Yeah. So if you forget any of the codes, you please go there and use them. It helps us so much. We love you.
Yes, we love you. Thank you.
Anyway.
I did something really fun this weekend.
What?
I went to the closing day at Keystone Ski Resort.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. Like, the closing day is like a fun local party. Everybody kind of comes out and they set up like fun events.
Oh my God.
And
it's combining all of your favorite things.
I loved
Community, like shenanigans.
It gets better. So many shenanigans. So they have something called the pond skim, which is when and a lot of times at a lot of resorts, they'll naturally kind of happen. It's like the snow melts. So the bottom of the run will end up kind of looking like a pool.
Slushy, yeah.
Yes. And they'll have a contest to see like who can get farthest across the pond. So they set up like a real pool, like made it into like dug out a pool area. They created a little ramp. They had a kid version, like a little version, and which I wouldn't have even gone down because it was fucking terrifying, and an adult version. And everybody like dresses in costume, and like all the people who are locals who have been like, you could tell they've been snowboarding since like they fucking came out of the womb, are there and competing, and everybody's out. It almost looks like, the base of the mountain at like an Olympic event or something. It's so fun. Everybody.
Wait, what did you say?
Everybody's in costume.
Scary though. What did you say?
So you go down this course, like you go down the hill, super steep, and you skim, like hit a ramp, little jump, and you launch off and then see how far on your skis or snowboard you can skim across the water to try to make it to the other side.
It sounds like an AWH.
100%. And in the beginning of the day, the ramp was super steep. And so people were launching off there. Nobody was making it. Eli thought he was actually going to do it. I'm so annoyed.
Crazy?
Well, he's done it before. So yes, he is crazy.
This is idiot.
I saw a video
thinking.
and I was like, oh my God, do not.
Real?
Yeah, I'll post that. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that is what social media is for.
Exactly.
It's just like,
I'm definitely posting that and he would love it. And then his friend went and his friend ate it big time. So it was an accident.
But it seems like they could get injured.
For sure.
And
there were so many like huge falls. There was one guy who went in teeny tiny jean shorts with suspenders, and he did a backflip and then made it all the way across. Then comes back for a second run, does 2 backflips, boop, boop, lands, makes it across. The crowd went bananas, even more so than for the guy who was actually wearing the banana suit as he went down.
Oh my God.
It was so fun.
You got to make fun. I love that. Adult play.
Yeah, it was adult play, and it was like other people that are not me doing it, but everybody cheering, and like it's just the freaking best. And it feels like locals, like, you know,
it sounds like it.
All these cute puppies and dogs. Everybody brought their dog out to the mountain and we're like hanging out. All these like St. Bernards, just, oh my God, there were puppies. It was the cutest thing. It was the best day.
Nice,
so it was really
good.
fun. And I'd never done anything like that before. It's just like another reminder of like living in Denver is the freaking best ever.
You love it with all your heart. I know it.
I do. Okay, but what else do I have? I have some some things to say to you or talk to you about. I read an interesting article in The Atlantic called "What Your Favorite Personality Test Says About You."
I love that people would have a favorite one.
Well, that was kind of the gist of the article, is that a lot these personality tests don't say as much as we think they do. They say
believe me, I know.
The personality test that you choose says just about as much about you as the personality test themselves.
I get that. I can see what you're saying.
Yeah. Would you say that you have, if you had to,
I hate them all.
I know.
I hate the people
makes sense
that get obsessed with the, and I have a real, like, I need to unpack why I have such animosity towards people for getting such a kick out of personality tests, but it's always a certain type of person who's like, oh, I'm an 8, or like, I'm an EPTQ or whatever.
Right.
Whatever. And I don't know. It's kind of like when you get really into astrology and you're like,
they even listed that in here, that like astrology is kind of lumped in the same way, because there are these things that are almost oversimplify very, I don't know, nuanced, like things that we can't really simplify. Like personality cannot be plotted on a scale, really. Yeah. You know, or we can't categorize people. We want to so bad. It makes us feel. And the article talked about these 3 major motives for self-evaluation. That research shows this is why people tend to gravitate towards these things, for one of these 3 motivations. So
if you had to pick your favorite, it would be zodiac, like astrology, right?
Well, no, I'm annoyed because I took this test and it guessed the one that I do think I like the best.
What is it? What's it called?
And the Enneagram ones.
Oh God,
and it's the
worst.
most annoying. I know, and it's also not scientifically found. It's like not based in science at all.
Yeah,
like the Myers-Briggs ones, for how much there are how problematic it is.
Yeah,
in many ways. It still has some evidence-based, like...
They really did attempt to make it legit.
Yeah. But even the test themselves, like even I don't know, whoever like owns the rights to that test now, they say that you should not use this for jobs, for like making big decisions
Can
about...
Can you believe people do that?
I know. And it said so many of them do. And the worst is that with the Myers-Briggs one is that it used to be much longer, and the actual test is much longer, but it was shortened to like this 100-question, like faster version that then is less valid.
Right.
So that one is not a good one. But the Enneagram one is even worse because it's not even based in science. But okay, so let me get back to this, research, where the research points at these 3 major motives for self-evaluation. It's self-assessment, so procuring accurate self-knowledge. So basically like wanting to know about yourself or assessing yourself. Like the other one is self-enhancement. So hearing vague compliments and thinking, that does sound like me.
Oh, I hate it.
And for self-verification, which is checking to see if others see you in the same way that you see yourself.
All right. Well, that's the least annoying motive.
That one is?
Yeah, because at least you're interested in other people.
Okay, that's good. And you know what? As a therapist, we talk about how when there is a big difference between how you view yourself and how others see you, and there's a big gap between that can be where a lot of our challenges arise, that where a lot of the problem is.
Like tension in relationships and stuff.
Yeah. Get closer, like how you really are to, and also how you really are and how you view yourself. Kind of.
Yeah. I think when we've talked about these things before, part of what baffles me is why it is such a female thing. We've talked about how you do know some guys that are into this stuff, but generally speaking, it is women that are doing these dumb tests.
Yeah. And people who were more, this was really interesting, that the Enneagram one said that people who were, it's essentially like the 7 deadly sins plus 2 others that are listed in there. And people who gravitate towards spiritual concepts and people who tend to like that one. It's like, I should say that like these virtues, it's like,
well, like
passion,
slothfulness or, hardworking.
Yes. The opposite of that. Yes. It's essentially there's 7 deadly sins, and then they threw 2 in there. The other ones are deceit and fear. And it's like it says in here that the Enneagram tries to help people learn what is motivating them to move away from their virtue and then navigate them back. And it's popular with some Christians that it tends to like assimilate into the test taker's worldview.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Good grief. Okay, so wait. It predicted that you would love the Enneagram.
Yes.
And they were...
Yes.
And then you were like, yes, but then you're like, but that's classic 3 or whatever. You are.
And so this is the same thing we were talking about with that therapy talk that we discussed like last week, the week before. That the problem is when people say, oh, I believe in this, but I don't make it my whole personality. But then they actually do make it their whole personality, or they use it as an excuse to get out of
what can I say? I'm a 7 or
and that's some bullshit. You can't do that. You still got to be accountable.
I hate personality tests, but I'll tell you what I do love, and that's LifeMD. Have you heard of this app?
I have not, but
okay. It's about
I'm looking for ways to simplify things, and I hear MD simplify my medical stuff.
Exactly. Sarah and I are forever complaining about our experiences in healthcare, and
who has had a positive one?
Right. It's awful, and so I was very excited about working with LifeMD because they create a better, more affordable way for people to talk to doctors without leaving their home, which is like...
Yes, I'm a big fan of telehealth.
Yes, me too. And like, there's no waiting rooms or like awkward in-person visits, which I never have a good experience ever when I go. And so this is very exciting to me. You can video chat with a board-certified physician, get the prescription that you need in as little as 15 minutes. Visit lifemd.com/braincandy today and see why LifeMD is America's most trusted leader in virtual healthcare. It is kind of silly to me that that's one of the last things for us to digitize in an effective way. And so any advancements in that department make me very happy. Like maybe you have freaking pink eye or a UTI or whatever. Yeah. And you could think, well, I'm not going to get an appointment for days. And so then you have limited options. This is such a better system. Let's see. What else do I need to make sure you know about it? They have 5-star certified physicians. And again, the speed at which you can get the resources you need is the key. Visit lifemd.com/braincandy now or download their app and see why LifeMD is America's trusted telehealth leader. That's lifemd.com/braincandy to experience healthcare the way it should be. Amen.
Yeah. Fast.
Okay.
No, love telehealth.
Love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, these tests are really doing what we all want, and that's to have some kind of certainty in a very uncertain world.
Okay. I guess I can see that. And that makes it less gross. I guess I always thought it was like also that people want to be seen.
Yes.
And feel like people notice them or whatever. And these tests kind of do that where it's like, that is how I am. I am organized.
Yeah. And some people do use it to help them self-correct or like become
know their
aware.
Weaknesses or.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the motivation to be a better person, it's never a bad thing. It's,
if that's the motive, okay.
Yeah.
It's
like intention. And it does feel like, we've kind of talked about this on here before, that when we move away from like religious institutions, these things and like the human need for guidance, really, like for like to be led down some sort of path of like, this is the moral way to be, or this is a good way to be.
Yeah.
Like the Enneagram talks about like the positive sides and then what can come out if you're, not well balanced and healthy. And damn, if they ain't right all the time about me.
Oh no.
So annoying. But it's fine. I mean, I am like
we
that.
all have our flaws.
We all do. And it's like, ugh.
You just don't want to hear about them.
No. I mean, well, this is the problem is like the people who are self-aware are beating themselves up sometimes unnecessarily and holding themselves too accountable. And the people who are like totally lack self-awareness and are like, everything's fine. I'm fine. You're the problem. You're like, they're not doing any of that. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
One of those hard to be a person kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so true.
Okay, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, this is just something that I wrote down. You know how we always talk about how it feels like men can behave badly and get away with it, and then not only can they get away with it, but they don't really get in trouble. It doesn't affect their career as much. And we think of example after example, like, Kanye West and Mel Gibson.
Yes.
And I thought of a female who breaks this rule, that the females don't do it.
Oh, I'm so into this.
I listened to it. I heard this, like something about her on the radio, and I was like, oh my God, this is the exception that proves the rule. And I'm curious as to why.
Okay.
Martha Stewart.
Oh man, that is a great example.
Went to jail. Now people use that as like, she almost like plays into it. Like she was on television or doing something where she drank a margarita out of like a Pyrex measuring cup.
Yeah.
And people were making jokes like, that's how you know you've been to jail, when you don't care what you're drinking booze out of. Like,
wow.
And
do you think
she gets almost like rewarded for?
I mean, she did do a masterful job of sort of weathering that storm.
Yeah. What do they call she rebounded.
Yeah.
Real well. Pivot.
My first thought was that her crimes were very stereotypically male, like insider trading. So do you think that could have lent
so
itself
maybe
to that?
we're giving her the same?
I don't know, maybe where people there's like a level of respect for that.
Or is it just we have Snoop Dogg to thank?
It could be that too.
I mean
that was genius.
How those two got together and created like a whole.
It's weird because she started with Coolio.
No.
There was a whole Coolio era where I think they presented at the VMAs one time together.
Okay. This is interesting.
Yeah. And then it felt like there was a shift to Snoop at one point. And then there was all the like innuendo about like smoking doobies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think Martha Stewart gets down?
I mean, really
she grows.
She grows marijuana plants?
Well, she grows other things. You think she just like...
Oh, right. She is a gardener.
Saving that green thumb just for some lettuce and carrots?
I don't think she does, but I'm surprised she
If she did, it would be the fucking best weed.
It probably would.
It would be all organic, all hydroponically grown, all like probably like
really nice side effects or whatever.
Totally. She's got that shit dialed in.
If you know how they name all the strains like puns,
yes.
What would hers be? It's got to be based. You remember how at the end of her episodes she would always say, "And that's a good thing."
Yeah, this one would be called like Martha Stewart's real good thing. Yeah,
right. I don't know. We'll have to come up with some Martha puns.
I think that listeners write in. Like I can see it now. The question box of like, what is the name? I bet there already is one. You know, it's kind of like when they name animals after celebrities, like they discover new spiders and they named like some spider got Leonardo DiCaprio named after, I don't know, some probably like spider that only dates younger spiders or something. Something like that.
Right. Mates only with young ones.
Yeah. That was not part of my animal facts.
As you've always been really into Pinterest and DIY and all that.
Yes.
But I don't think you've ever really talked about whether or not you love Marty Stewart.
Love her.
Like, is she? Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. I remember my aunt was really into Martha Stewart. She was like big into entertaining before entertaining was even like a thing.
Yeah.
Like where the only way you knew about it was by purchasing Martha Stewart's books. So she had a collection of Martha Stewart like books. This was before she had a magazine.
Yeah.
This was where she was like teaching you how to set the table. And my aunt always had fancy dinner parties and was an amazing entertainer.
Thanks to Marty.
Yeah. And so still is an amazing entertainer.
She
always
has introduced
to. Yeah. I feel like that was how I got introduced to Martha Stewart. And then what I really fell in love with were her Halloween costumes that she did in Martha Stewart Living. Every year she would come out with Halloween costumes, and I love a homemade costume, and I love one that isn't a like brand,
the usual.
Brand. I like it when it's not like I don't want the Disney label or the Marvel label. Like I like it more when it's
bespoke,
like a cool spider. Like she did like like how to make a grape, like a bunch of grapes with balloons and stuff like that. And like those kind of cute things, like probably pre-Pinterest too.
Yes.
And like the Halloween stuff was really.
That was when she really was shining.
What did it for me.
Her spooky
and
content.
she always had, and she would always dress up and have a really great costume on the cover.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this Martha Stewart, she's.
How do you think she knew all that? I know eventually, of course, she had a staff who was coming up with ideas, but I think she's the real deal. Like
I do too.
Is an expert.
Do you think it's like secretly rooted? Who the heck is calling me? Nobody
it's
needs
so
to be
rude.
calling me. Do you think it's like rooted in feelings of like insecurity and needing to like put on a good show and make sure like everybody's.
Wow. I never thought
it
that.
Like the
I thought
think about
she
like
had a commitment to excellence and that she, the sphere of domesticity was her sphere. And what?
That sounds like really smart and really fancy. Like, just like, that sounds very Martha Stewart.
And I think she just took pride in being the best at that. But I could be wrong. Yeah. It could be rooted in complete insecurity.
Well, no, I'm like, didn't she, like, was she married before?
Mm-hmm. She was married and had a daughter. And I think she was, a stay-at-home and then was real serious about it.
Yeah, but like, what if it was like she was married to a guy whose mom just was never satisfied and always came over and was like, "That's how you set the table." She's like, "I'll show her." And it's like turned into a whole empire.
Yeah, and where is her ex? Where'd that guy go?
I didn't even know she had a daughter.
Because her daughter had a show for a while that was like thumbing her nose at the Martha Stewart brand. Because she just like could never live up to that. So the only way to like cope was to be silly about it.
what did she do? This feels like an MTV home makeover, like
They
how to
would
make like
they would
that.
watch episodes, her and her co-host, which was I think Jenny Hutt.
She like roasted her mom.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, leave it to Suze. You're gonna know all of the celebrity hot
The
goss.
this hot
is
goss.
old hot goss. Man.
Yeah. And it was such a
story.
big deal because they thought, oh, what is Martha going to think that her own daughter is sort of. But I think Martha respects the hustle regardless of who's the punchline.
It's like a Joan Rivers and Melissa Rivers.
And they had that same vibe, like odd couple.
Yeah.
Because Melissa was always like the straight man to Joan's lunacy.
How could you not with, it's kind of what you have to do when you have a parent like that who's so.
Yeah.
Did you see that North West, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's daughter was invited up on stage at the Katy Perry concert?
No.
And Katy Perry asked her what she wanted to do when she grew up. And she said,
say?
Everything.
Oh my God.
She's 9 years old. Going on 25.
When has a kid ever answered like that either?
She was like, everything.
Holy heck.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Are you into it?
I mean, it kind of does show that when your dad is Kanye West and when your like aunts are billionaires, that you really feel like you could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it'd be weird if she didn't have that.
Anything and
sense.
everything. Like if she was like, I want to be a teacher, I would be shocked.
Oh, wouldn't that have been such a great answer though?
Like so great.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. I remember
I'll tell
when
you what
I was,
else is awesome.
Oh, yes, go.
And that is being able to see properly.
Absolutely.
And now we can, thanks to Pair Eyewear. I actually have, tomorrow morning, I have an eye appointment. Sarah, something ain't right. And I don't think it's just old age. You think it is?
I do.
It just happened so suddenly though.
That is it.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's like, I'm saying this like I'm like 10 years older than you.
Well, I hope it is because I'm scared about it.
No, it's got to be that because like I've definitely had the situation where I hold up, all of a sudden I go to thread the needle and I'm like,
oh yeah.
What?
Right.
And it's like actually overnight that you go, okay, I can't, I'm doing the thing where I have to pull it back again. Yeah, I think it is. We got to get our eyes checked on the regs. Yeah,
I'm going tomorrow. I'll let you know because here's me. I'm like, this can't be just degenerative, like old age. I was like thinking it was like on Little House on the Prairie when that one daughter went blind because she read too much.
Stop.
For real. I was like, it's over. I had a good run. I'm not going to be able to see anymore. So we'll find out. But I said to myself, hey.
You should get readers to relax your eyes so you're not straining them. And maybe that's it. I mean, I'm talking like I'm an eye doctor.
I hope it is.
Go.
I'll find out the facts. But I thought to myself, well, the good news is I'm going to be able to get new specs. And I will get Pair Eyewear because they are affordable. They are so cute. They have a million bazillion styles. And then they have the pop-ons that change the style from whatever you want to wear that day.
Or
black or
sunglasses.
Brown. Or sunglasses, right. It's unbelievable.
Just boop, boop.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're magnetized. So they just pop onto your lenses and you can change the look or you can change them from regular to sunglasses.
It's great for travel.
It's great for everything. And I hope you all join me in my love for Pair Eyewear. Bring more color into your world this spring with Pair Eyewear. Go to paireyewear.com/braincandy for 15% off your first purchase. That's Pair, Pair, eyewear.com/braincandy. You just upload your prescription too if you have a prescription, and it's so easy. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I have to go do that. You know what I've noticed is I can't even open my eyes. How it's so sunny outside.
That is what is happening to me too.
That's why
I thought I was going blind because I was like not just.
I actually can't. Do we spend so much time indoors?
Oh my God, that would explain my problem. But you are more of an outdoor cat.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'm wearing goggles and everything the whole time.
That's
true. Because when I went to Costa Rica, when my mom had her accident, I remember it took me about a week to adjust because it was like post-COVID, like we had been inside for so long. And I really felt like my eyes, it took me about a week before I was able to walk on the beach with my eyes open and like without sunglasses. So is that a thing?
I guess it could be if you're not used to the, the sunlight. Maybe we're like vampires.
I know.
Oh my God.
Gosh. Did you watch that show yet that I said wrong, but is the right word is extrapolations?
People. Oh, okay.
Did I not say that on a previous episode?
You just said on Instagram, but now I can't remember. Oh. What was the actual name of the show?
The actual name of the show is called Extrapolations.
Okay.
Like they take a fact, like if we extrapolate on this, like, fact that we already have and know about the rate of like how fast the temperature is rising, or that if we extrapolate on this idea, this is the future that we're looking at. And it goes up to like, I think the last episode, I have one more episode left, but it's like 2067 or something like that. Dude, it is not looking good. And so I was just thinking about that because like the whole, like maybe it has something to do with like, I don't know what's happening.
No, I think we sorted out the hole.
We did, huh?
Yeah.
Because we stopped using hairspray.
Right. We got rid of Aquanet and problem was solved.
Problem solved. I mean, do you really think that had something to do with it?
Yeah.
For real?
Well, aerosols, yeah. I do.
It's the only time white women have helped in any way.
After we heard it, then we helped it.
That's the only time we've really like made significant change, if that's it. We could just take yep, it was us.
That
and maybe metal bands.
There, the announcement that there's a hole in the ozone layer, and I think the idea of that, the visual of it, and the urgency with which people spoke about it really had an impact on behaviors. And so they,
what happened?
What do you mean?
It's not working anymore. We got polar bears dying.
Yes.
We need like a new version of this.
I think the problem is there's too many problems.
I think you're right.
It's like, oh God, not another thing.
Yeah. And I keep reading all these like, and maybe I read them just to show Eli so that I don't have to compost things and sort things as much as I do. Ugh, I love him, but I do. I'll do it forever. You're great,
wow.
Eli. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Don't change a thing. But I keep reading all these articles that are like recycling experts that say trash is trash. Like what we need to do is limit the amount of single-use plastics that are getting made. Yeah, not like
I know,
and
I know
it's all trash.
Yes, we buy too much stuff. We use too much stuff, but here's the thing. The truth is almost all of it should be the industries being held accountable. We need regulation.
Yes.
Because people like us are like, okay, I'll use this shitty straw or whatever. And it makes absolutely no difference almost. It's very negligible. And all these companies are like, whoa, who cares? Water. And then nothing good happens from that.
That's what this show is all about.
Oh my God. Why would you watch that?
Just a little bit. And it's like, oh, look, the problem's getting fixed. I guess we can be loosey-goosey on regulations again. What's a little more of this, but, So I watch it because, I don't know.
It doesn't depress you, though?
Yeah, it's terribly depressing, but,
That's Tuesday's sacrifice. You kind of like being sad sometimes.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes you got to lean into it. And then you just get to the point where you're like, that's it. I got to watch some cartoons. And then you're good.
Yeah, you like to swing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny because I feel like there's a perfect segue here about like when you're happy or when you're sad. I read this article that maybe still doesn't answer a lot of questions, as a lot of these articles do, but it was titled like the study that the nutritionists don't want you to know about, that Harvard nutritionists don't want you to know about. And it's this strange reoccurring result that people get, that researchers get, anytime they study the benefits or like health benefits or effects of ice cream.
What?
So for as long as we've been studying the effects of dairy on the system, there are multiple and repeated experiments that will show that including a small amount of ice cream in your diet seems to have some sort of link between a reduction in diabetes and rates of diabetes, which is the actual opposite of what you'd think would happen. And
How
of
do you
course, this is
explain
one
that?
of those correlation, not causation situations. And it was just funny to read this article because like people who are researching dairy at like Harvard are coming up with these results that mimic the studies that were done like in the 70s. And they kind of all have to be like, yeah, we know that. But like, don't talk about that because the nutritionists will get really mad. And then they don't talk about it because the people in the nutrition field do go, whoa. And there's rightfully so, but the studies keep coming out.
Do you think that it's specifically ice cream or dairy?
So they looked at that, and it is specifically ice cream, but it's because of the fermentation, because of the same thing that happens with yogurt.
Get out of town.
Yeah, so yogurt is similar in the benefits that it has, but then there's something called, it's something that happens. I'm going to teach you a new word. There's something called the reverse causation theory. And it's kind of like if you're a person, because they're really just looking at self-reports of like who's reported what they've been eating. And so if you're somebody that maybe had the doctors tell you you're at higher risk of diabetes, you might naturally stop eating those things, which then looks like you're eating less of those, but then still maybe ending up with diabetes. And then there are people who aren't at risk who just keep eating it. So what that turns into is a link that it looks like a link between ice cream and diabetes, when really it's just people who aren't at risk for diabetes will probably keep eating ice cream, and people that are will probably eat less of it and then still end up with it.
Because I participate in a longitudinal study ever since I was pregnant.
What? I didn't know this.
Yeah, whenever
how dare you keep fun
it's not that interesting
like that for Susie.
I'm sorry. You're right. Okay. When I was pregnant, I agreed to participate in this study, which I did not know was going to carry on for the rest of my life. But
my God,
they send this thing, and it is this humongous like food form that you have to fill out, and you have to report all the foods you eat. And it is enormous and tedious. And also I can see how it is really flawed.
Yeah.
Because number one, I'm self-reporting.
Yes.
So you have to assume A, I'm honest, and B, I'm accurate, which most people are neither.
And it showed that most people who tend to have diabetes did poorly in self-reporting. So they reported having less ice cream than somebody who
I notice this all the time.
Yeah, I eat it all the time.
Yeah. I have a friend who swore up and down that she ate like nothing, and then started taking Adderall, and of course lost all this weight because it lowers your appetite.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I didn't realize how little a person would have to eat to be a certain weight. And things like that. Like, you just think, I don't eat that much or whatever. Like, we're not very self-aware human beings.
I'm not even aware when I'm biting my own nails. Like, I am definitely not aware of how many potato chips I'm putting in my mouth.
Yeah, nobody is.
Like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So,
So there's that problem. And also the options of like how much you ate. People don't know what an ounce is.
No clue.
So I'm just saying I see your point with all of this.
The authors of these studies found that like when they looked at the results, it showed that they called this like the ice cream effect. Consuming as little as a half a cup per week was associated with a 19% diabetes reduction.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's the thing though. they keep doing all these studies on food, which I want them to. It's interesting. Right. But that's why you often hear like butter's bad for you. And then 2 weeks later, butter's great for you. Right. And you see this a lot with like quick clickbait stuff. Like turns out if you drink a bottle of wine every day, you'll never die. Right. And it's stuff ridiculous. Like that. And so yet what is the solution if the data is so easy to manipulate, is often flawed?
I think that's what these articles really show, and I think that's what they were getting at in this Atlantic article, that there are so many variables and things to consider, and we can't just like hang our hat on. Like you kind of have to look at the
Use
big
your
picture.
Noodle. Come on.
Yeah. And like you can't just think like what's going to be good for one person is going to be good for everybody, or we don't know the different ways that things may be beneficial. Like maybe it has something to do. I'm thinking now with like, remember that French study that was like, if you give people when they are in hospice, like a little bit of wine and cheese and let them like have fun, then
there's
their
so many
symptoms
variables.
like things help. So maybe there's something about like dopamine that you get from eating ice cream and it feels good, and that has more preventative, like protective or stress reducing effects than other things. Like who the hell knows?
I read Dick Van Dyke's memoir that he wrote a few years ago, and he's in his late 90s. Like that guy is just fit as a fiddle. And that was one of the suggestions that he made, is always have like a hot fudge sundae for dessert. Like, experience pleasure and joy. Yeah. And don't deny yourself that, because it does matter. And who knows what works for each person. But I always thought that was really cute. I could just picture Dick Van Dyke with his like hot fudge
sneaking a little sundae
every night.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, and he makes it part of his routine.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. That's like what makes it so you live till that long. Whatever that fun is for you.
Yeah. So right. I like that. And I think that article sounds like it was trying to provide context.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
But I do find that anytime we deprive the body of something, it goes into like overproduction of something else. I was talking to Eli about this, like, because his keto diet's working really well, surprisingly. And not surprisingly, it's like how it works, science, but he's like sticking to it. And it's like, great. I'm like, oh, wow, that really does work. But like I learned when I was a teenager and had like acneic, like oily skin, there was like this belief that we should just dry it out and like suck all the oil out. And that caused my skin to make more of it. And so we got to like add the oil to like balance it out.
And we learned that in the book that I read about addiction called Never Enough, was describing how, when you have your first cup of coffee, you really do get that jolt of caffeine, but it does not take very long for your body to know that you're going to drink it, to lower your energy levels so that when you drink your cup of coffee in the morning that you think you need, it's because your body had prepared for it, made your energy dip so that the caffeine just puts you to the regular level again.
Yeah.
That's what addiction is.
Right. This body is doing its own thing.
Yeah, like you can't outsmart it.
No.
Yeah. Right. But we all think we can.
And I'm going to keep eating that ice cream, and because the studies tell me to.
Right. And I bet you'll live to be a gazillion years old.
I know I will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember when I asked you, I was like, yeah, maybe it's like that. I asked you how old you're going to be when you die, and I think you said 75 or something, but you're like, at this point, everything is like the cherry on top. It was like you had lived such a big life that...
Yeah, I believe it. It's like, what else? Yeah, I'm good. I've had a lot of experiences.
You really have.
Yeah, I'm not ready, but now I feel like I'm going to live to be like 102.
I think so too.
I'm going to live so long, I'm going to be annoyed. I'm going to be like, can we wrap this up?
Right. Yeah. Get me out of here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I like that prediction. That sounds good.
Yep. Well, that's all I got for you.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Let's wind it down.
Martha Stewart's a criminal, but we don't even care.
It's a criminal.
And it's probably thanks to Snoop Dogg that she can get away with it all.
Yeah, I would love to know who was sort of the mastermind of her crisis management.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If it was her or like a company that...
Good PR team.
Yeah, somebody plotted that out and tip of the hat.
Yeah, tip of the hat.
I like this idea that Sarah has a neighbor that she hates.
Oh my God, don't say I hate him. He's going to be mad. He just doesn't get the joke.
Yeah, but...
I'm going to have to remember to take a picture with my toast and pizza over my face.
Oh my God.
You won't even believe. You won't even... You're going to be upset too that my neighbor didn't giggle at this.
I can't believe that.
Dead inside.
They must have been really annoyed.
Yeah, really annoyed. What did I do? I swear. Sometimes it's just when I'm happy. People just get upset. I
can relate to that because that is how I feel when you go snowboarding.
Yeah, you're annoyed. But.
No, I really am. Like I'm like, oh God, this again. And the happier you are about it, the more annoyed I am.
So fun.
So stupid.
Well, you're in luck because the season's coming to an end. Keystone closing. I only have like one more resort that's still open.
Oh my God.
It's all
I really
soon.
Thought I was out of the
you're
woods.
going to be flooded with camping photos. So get ready.
I'm going to be into
annoying.
The woods. And also personality tests annoy me. So we got to talk about that.
Yep.
And then eat that ice cream.
Yeah.
I mean,
eat the ice cream. Who
just
cares?
Eat the ice cream.
It helps. It actually helps.
What's your favorite flavor? It's like, wait, let me think. Do I know this?
I don't know if you would know this. I feel like yours would be like a cherry Garcia.
That's really funny. I like that answer.
Like vanilla, dark chocolate, and some cherries in there.
I'm just into cookies and cream.
Oh, cookies and cream. Oh, that's
pretty
a good
basic.
One.
It's just classic.
Yeah.
I could go for a mint choc chip.
That's that's like number 2. That like
is it?
That's always number 2, and number 1 kind of goes back and forth depending on what mood I'm in. But I'll go for a Rocky Road.
Is it Rocky Road? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like a lot of stuff in it.
What's in that? Marshmallow, chocolate chunks.
Yeah, sometimes almonds.
Oh my gosh.
You get the crunch. Yeah.
That's the rock.
Yeah.
I see. All right. Well, I've learned a lot about you, and I've enjoyed talking to you again today.
Oh, as always, Susie Louise.
Leave us a 5-star review. Thank you for always using our codes, tagging us, being in the book club, being a patron, being in the dog club, all that stuff. We love you.
We love you guys.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.